All right, RSM 308ers. What I want to do today is give you an opportunity to practice doing a round robin and looking at some round robin because this is one of the things that you'll have on the test. And so last time we talked about how to create a round robin tournament. So let's use that information and put it together as a tournament. So what we're looking at is a spring flag football league. The timing is going to be, we're going to have a 1 week league. It's going to be 4 days a week, so Monday through Thursday, let's just say. You have 4 hours per day to run this tournament, and you have 2 fields to do so. You have 17 teams that sign up, and we broke them down into different units, and those 17 teams fall into 5 advanced teams, 8 intermediate, and 4 beginners. Okay, so we were going to want to keep those separate as we form our schedule and kind of create our league. So some things to keep in mind as we move forward. So let's take a look at what we got. So we're trying to create that round robin tournament. So first off, one of the things we can think about is how many total games can we handle based upon that information we have. The number of weeks, which was 1, the number of days per week, which was 4, the number of hours per day, which was 4, and the number of courts or fields in this case. So that gives us an idea how many total games that we can have, the maximum number of games that we can have. And we just multiply all those, right? So 1 week times 4 days for that week times 4 for the hours within that week, or hours per day, sorry. And so that gives us 16, and then we multiply that by 2 because we have 2 fields, and it gives us total games that we can play are 32. Okay, so we used our information that we had, and we figured out that we have 32 games. Okay, now as I mentioned, we broke it down into units of participation. We have advanced, basically league, an intermediate league, and a beginners. All these are co-recreational, so males, females all put together, so we don't have to worry about breaking off in males and females. We just broke it down into advanced, intermediate, and beginners. Okay, so we did get 17 teams signed up, and out of those 17 teams, we have 5 that are advanced, 8 that are intermediate, and 4 beginners. Okay, so now what we have to do is figure out how many games per league that we're going to have. Now we put in our numbers into our equation. Remember, little n is the total number of teams, so we know that it's within each one of the leagues, right? Big N is 17. Little n is how many teams per league. And so what we want probably to do here is put our n in, and the n for the advanced is 5, but we're going to have to do this equation at least 3 different times, right? Because we have 3 different units of participation. So in this case, that first one, 5, we can put 5 in there. 5 minus 1 equals 4, times 5 is 20, divided by 2 gives us 10 games per league. So we know in our advanced league, we're going to have 10 games per league. Now what we have to figure out in our intermediate league, we have 8 teams. Now remember, the more teams that we have, the bigger and longer the competition might last. So let's take a look at this and say, well, let's put them all in one league. We'll have 8 teams in that league. So if we put that in there, in that equation, we say 8 minus 1 is 7, times 8 is 56, divided by 2 is 56 divided by 2 is 28. We only have 32 games as a whole, so 28 of those 32 are going to be intermediate, so it's not going to work. So we're going to have to break it down into smaller components and into smaller leagues so that we can get that in. And so, let's try 4. So if we put 4 in, and surprise, it's going to work, but we put 4 in. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 divided by 2 equals 6 games per league. Now we're times 2 leagues. Now we have 12. Now we're still only using 22. We have 32, so that'll work. And then we go back and we say we have that beginner league only has 4. We know it's going to be the same equation as this one, 4 minus 1 times 4 equals 12 divided by 2 equals 6, and we know we have 6 games per league. Okay, so we know 10 games for our. It's going to take 10 games to finish up our advanced league. It's going to take break our intermediate down into 2 smaller leagues. It'll take 6 for each of those, so that'll give us 12 games, and then that last one we can just do all together as a beginners, 4 teams, 1 league, and it comes out to 6 games. So, what do we have to do? We have to add up that total, and we'll see if it's underneath 32. So 10 plus 12 is 22, plus 6 is 28. We have less games than what we have as maximum, so that'll work. Probably if we adjust anything in any direction, we'll go over the number of games, the maximum number of games that we can have, and that won't work. So this is going to be the best option for us. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. Determine the total number of games to play the league, use the number of games per league, times the number of or really adding up, or times the number of leagues. So 10 times 1, there's only 1 advanced league, equals 10. We saw that earlier. We had 6 total games for each of the league, or for each individual league. There's going to be 2 intermediate leagues, so that's 12, and then only 1 beginner league, so it comes out to 6. We add up those 3 units, like we said, and we have 28. So we have 32 available slots. We're going to have 28 total games. We know that we're basically going to have 4 wasted games, right? We're going to have 4 times the field sitting empty because of nobody playing on them. Okay, that's about the best we can do. Okay, with this league. Okay, so how many? Each team will play how many games? Remember, basically you take the league and the number of teams in the league and minus 1 because you don't play yourself, right? And that'll give you how many teams. So in advanced, each team will play 4, 5 minus 1, right? In intermediate, we have 4 teams in each league. So it's 4 minus 1, so 3. And beginner will get 4 minus 1, and they'll get 3 as well. So we know that each advanced team, each one of them are going to play 4 other teams. Intermediate 3 and beginner 3. So we know that information now as we get ready to put together our schedule. How many games will it take to complete the league? So in this case, we know n minus 1 times n divided by 2. We've done that math, right? And so now we're ready to put it into our schedule. And so this is just for the advanced. If you want to work further, you can do the intermediate and the beginners. But for the advanced, remember we have basically 5 rounds to get it in. Okay, and so what we're going to do, or basically kind of 4 days to get it in, right? So the first day we have the 1 versus bye, because we have 5 teams in there, so somebody's going to have a bye. 2 plays 5, 3 plays 4, right? So we have an odd number, so we're going to have a bye. So what do we keep steady? Remember, when you do a round robin, you keep one thing stagnant, one thing doesn't move, and everything else moves around it. So in this case, we used bye as the stagnant one. Okay, so now 1 moves down, 2 moves down, 3 moves over, 4 moves up, and 5 moves diagonal, right? So 5 has a bye on that second opportunity. 1 has 4, 2 has 3. And then we have 4 has a bye, 5 plays 3, 1 plays 2. And then it works its way all the way across so that we can see the different rounds and how everybody is going to be playing. Okay. Now when we look at these rounds, we might now have to adjust it into what days those are going to fall on. Okay. So when we look at it, if this is our advanced schedule, the advanced teams, Browns, Saints, Panthers, Colts, and Giants, and then we have our intermediate and our beginners. So on that first day, field one, the Saints are going to play the Giants. Okay, the Colts are going to play the Panthers. One team, as we said, is going to have a bye. In this case, the Browns had the bye, right? If we go back to that previous one, go back to the previous one had a bye. Okay, 2 played 5, 3 played 4. So 2 plays 5, Saints and Giants. 3 plays 4, Colts and Panthers. And our bye goes to the Browns. Okay. Then the next day, remember the Giants had the bye, or the next, or that's one day. Now on the other fields we have these activities going on. We have the Cardinals playing the Packers. Okay, Vikings playing the Chiefs, and the Lions playing the Rams, and the Patriots playing the Cowboys, and the Dolphins playing the Jets. So we basically broke down each of the time frames into one of the specific leagues. Okay, makes it nice and simple. Okay, here's the second day: Browns versus Colts, Saints versus the Panthers, and again we know that the Giants are the team with the bye. Okay, third day, and then the fourth day, what we ended up doing, because the advance has more teams, and they needed that extra round to get done, but the other other two are done after that third day because they only had 3 games, right? So then that fourth day, they're actually playing 2 games that day. Okay, so the Colts play the Saints, the Giants play the Browns. Take a quick break, come around, and then they play again. But they play different teams, and that way they could get through their whole round robin tournament. Okay, so this is kind of what it will look like. You have different components here. We talked about figuring out how to figure out the number of games you can have. Okay, we figured out how many teams per league that we had. We figured out and broke it down into units of participation, how we wanted to participate, and you can break it down in other ones. We used advanced, intermediate, and beginner. You may have male and female. You may have male, female, and co-recreational. You may have other ways that you may want to do it, but you just have to make sure you have a policy of why you're doing it that way, and then figure up how many games each team's going to play, and then put it down into a schedule and create that round robin tournament or schedule for the participants. Okay, so hopefully this helps. Again, giving you a further depth of how you can do these round robin tournaments and set these up. One of your next assignments is going to be to do this. You're going to also have to do this on the test. So I want to make sure that you have that practice, and I'll give you some more opportunities to practice on this. The other next video I'll make will be another practice one for single elimination, so you get an opportunity to try that as well. So hope these are helping, and remember I'll be available on Wednesdays for office hours to help you